live breakdown portion here of the conversation with Tigers prospect Justyn-Henry Malloy. Justyn-Henry, thank you for taking more time here to hang out with us and break down some of your ABs. Of course, try to make it as easy of a sell as possible. So I wanted to start off with a home run that you hit off of Hyunjin Ryu. But thank you for taking us through your ABs, because as we talked about on the call up, and people are going to listen to that full episode, you are as selective as they come at the plate, but you never really realized that until later.
Yeah, I mean, I just try to hit balls that I think that are balls that I can do damage with, and otherwise, I really try to take them. Obviously, I'm not trying to take too many pitches. You're not trying to strike out, but like I'm just trying to do damage up there with the balls that I can handle. So that's kind of just my approach in a nutshell.
So you've talked about it. You talked about it briefly in the podcast about, certain situations where, you'll say, okay, I need to be a little bit more aggressive here. Like when you face Kyle Hendricks and took him deep, the approach going into that was, hey, last time I was, a little bit passive, I think just because I'm like almost watching Kyle Hendricks pitch, as you put it, like from the best seat in the house. But you had that plan to be more aggressive because you knew he was going to be around the zone. Take us to your AB here that we're about to play with Hyunjin Ryu, where, obviously this is a rehabbing former All-Star guy who it just knows how to pitch. What's your approach going into a game like this, where I'm sure there's a little bit of, well, I've seen this guy pitch for years on my TV, but also I know that this guy's probably going to pitch me a little bit differently than some of the other young arms that I see.
Yeah, so I try to, and I don't know how, like, obviously it's worked for me or whatever, but for guys who are specifically like on rehab, right? Like, not to say that they don't care about their start. Of course they care. Like, they want to win too. However, it's a little bit different. It's almost like a practice game for them, or a game practice. I don't know how you want to approach it.
Yeah.
However, so I know, especially with his profile, he wants to throw strikes. He's about business. He wants to fill up the zone. He's trying to dot balls. Like, he wants to kind of nibble, right? So like I know that about him. I know that in the scouting report. So like to kind of shrink him would be kind of dumb, because not dumb, of course, that's kind of a very stressful word, but like to shrink him wouldn't be smart, because he's going to dot pitches. So like you might as well get your swing off as many times as you can on balls that you think you can handle, even if it's not down the middle, because guys like him don't miss down the middle. So I want to get my swing off. And I also faced Hendricks before. So I kind of had that mentality of first at bat, let's not watch Hyunjin Ryu pitch. Let's be a hitter and let's hit. So I kind of went into that bat with that mentality already. Look at that.
Yeah, you let that one rip.
Yeah, like I'm trying to get some, excuse my French, some hell hacks off, because I need to get that out of my, like, I almost need to like flush it out of my body. Like, swing, go. Don't just watch this guy because you know who he is. You need to go. So I like those first swings. I kind of want to keep going. I'm watching now.
Yeah, so
Like
2-1, you let it rip, you foul it off again. Like,
1-1.
that was the one that missed. So sorry, it was backwards. My really good editing skills here. This gets you right
No,
back
no
to
worries.
2-2. So I had those pitches flipped there. So you're back to 2-2, but that was the ball that made it 2-1. You had the advantage count. You let it rip. That was the two clips before. And you just missed. I mean, he has that kind of cutting action that just it gets on you quicker. Where are you recalibrating now? Because it's 2-2. You are on them, but it just fouled him off. And you also know that this is a smart pitcher who's gonna kind of calibrate his own way after each swing. Each swing that you take is feedback for him. Each swing that you take is feedback for yourself. Where are you at 2-2 now?
So 2-2, I'm really trying to stay. Obviously, you're not, I don't want to say hyper aware of a good changeup, because that's what he has. That's what he tried to make me bite with before. So I just know that he has that in his back pocket. So be aware of that. That's not taking me off of a fastball, but it's just being aware, because he might try to throw, quote, it might look like a fastball down, but it's just going to be fastball, 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 change up. And then you just swing over it and it's strike three. So like I'm really trying to like not trying to not trying to give off too much of my laundry or my dirty laundry, but I'm trying to get a pitch to handle at this point because I know
Yeah.
he doesn't like messing around and he doesn't walk guys either. So
Yeah.
like to get him to 3-2 would kind of be a plus because it's like, okay, I want him to throw a strike and he wants to throw a strike too. So I'm curious to see like what pitch this is. Curveball. Okay, so I haven't seen that at bat. Spikes it. So now I'm at 3-2, and I know it's kind of like 3-2, and I know he's on rehab. So I want to say I got a changeup to hit a
Is
homer.
that
That
what was
might
that right there?
I couldn't tell you what that was. I'll be honest. I'm trying to pick up a grip.
It almost looks like a
I don't
changeup
know.
that he left up.
I Yeah.
It
So like
almost looks like a
changeup left
changeup he
up.
left up, and like
I think
you had
so
no
too.
reason to believe that that changeup would be up there, but foul
Yeah.
it off. And now you're still now you've seen the changeup. You saw the curveball which you spit on, so you've
Mhm.
seen the changeup also that you spit on to start the count off. That was a good location for it. You mentioned the 2-2, kind of wanting to bring him up a little bit, right? Because anything that starts at the knees, would you say you're almost shutting that down, knowing that, yeah, that he's probably not going to dot a fastball at the knees?
It's not like shutting it down, but it's like bringing it back.
Yeah.
Like, I can't make that decision as early as I want to. Like, I gotta really, really bring him back to me so
Mhm.
that if it's a fastball, I could still hammer it or I could still handle it, hit it to right field. But if it is a changeup, it gives me a chance,
Yeah.
as opposed to if I get this fastball out front, I spin to win, hit a homer, that's all looks cool. But guess what? He's gonna pull the string and then I swing over top of it, and then it's strike three. So I just know that like a guy like him, like you need to bring him back to be able to
So
try to have some success.
makes sense. So he goes 3-2, and it's a changeup he misses up with. What are you thinking now? Again, just run it back and
So I'm thinking one of two things. So he could either hate that location so much that he doesn't go to it, which I mean, obviously these are two completely opposite of the spectrum type of thing. He might hate the pitch so much that he doesn't want to go to it, or he might hate the pitch so much that he might want to go back to it to correct it.
yeah.
So it's like it's one, and again, like it's two completely different spectrums. Like either it's a changeup or it's not. Like, but in this case, he goes back to it as like more of like a corrective thing. Like, okay, I want to throw that again. But you do probably have to take into consideration, like, again, he's on rehab, so maybe he's trying to work on something. He didn't like it. Okay, instead of banging it and throwing a different pitch, I might want to try and throw that pitch and execute it the right way. I'm not saying I was sitting on a changeup. That's by
Well,
no
that's what I was going to
means like,
ask you, because you stay back on that and you drive it out to, left center field. Uh, were you just reacting to that? You picked it up out of the hand because, like, if that was a fastball like that, or like a cutter, would that have maybe gotten in on you a little bit? Like, what were you sitting there? Because it seems like you were ready for a changeup with the way that you're able to catch it relatively deep and drive it out to left center.
yeah, I mean, it's just more I'm on a fastball, but it's just like a quote unquote like hyper awareness of he's got that good plus pitch in his back pocket. So you need to be aware of it, whether it's to spoil it or whatever. But in that case, I'm really just trying to be on a fastball and adjust. However, I got to change up. It was kind of the same thing with Hendricks. Like Hendricks, I got to change up, and that's what I hit. So like guys like them, like those profile types of pitchers, like you just try to like back them up as best you can because the secondary stuff is so good. It's not changing my approach. It's just trying to play smarter and knowing that I can handle something where I'm like, okay, I can still hammer a fastball. I might not catch it an inch out front to hit it to dead left field, but I could still catch it in enough to be able to pound it to right center field and be able to have success there. So that was Ryu right there, and I got to change up, and I had some success.
I love it. And here's another AB where you have some success. kind of a backup breaking ball a little
Backup
bit
slide,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, fine taking that for a strike.
Mm. Get foul. Get foul. Okay, here we go. I was
Yeah, that
hoping
was
you
it.
wouldn't show a
I threw
foul out.
Yeah, I threw in some decoys here just to humble you a little bit. No, so now but just like that. That's why the sport sucks. Just like that, it's 0-2, right? You have a pitch that
Yeah,
he probably didn't
shoot.
even mean to throw that you have like you're just auto spitting on a backup slider, and then a fastball that you just gets on you a little bit and it goes foul. Now it's 0-2. Where are you at? Like you saw 85, you saw 94.
Fight. Grind it. Like that's about it. Yes. Spit.
Something else I notice is the way like your takes are comfortable, but also you're in a spot where you start, but you can shut it down. So it's like a comfortable take because there's a difference. I feel like there's some guys that their takes it's rushed and you're like, oh my gosh, like he just was able to shut it down in time. For you, it's like it's an easy take, but you still have some like movement going of like you're starting to get things going. Was that something that kind of made it easier for you to be so selective where you're able to just kind of shut it down right after the first move from your launch position? Because that's something I've noticed a lot with your takes. Like you start to go and you're able to just shut it down so easily.
I mean, I'll definitely tell you now, like it's not easy because that pitch
That's what I'm saying. You
sucks.
make it look easy.
And it's not. And I'm not trying to give credit to it's more credit to the pitcher. Like that's a nasty and but I don't want to give it to him because I know that's what he wants me to do. I know he wants me to chase that. Um, and I'll be honest with you, that type of take I've never like trained. It's just more of like a last second, oh, I guess something, maybe something I see in my eyes. I can't even really
Yeah,
describe it,
it could just be
but it's like,
better eyesight than the
yeah,
average person.
I have no, but it's just like it's a wrinkle. It's something that like I guess my body's able to pick up. That's just like, no, you can't swing at that. Don't swing at that. And
It's an
again,
art.
like I mean, I try, like again, I'm gonna chase like the next guy. Like I'm not
Yeah,
someone that never chases. I chase. But like I think the competitive factor in there is like I'm 0-2, you know, he doesn't want to get beat 0-2, right? So like you got to take into consideration like he's not trying to give up an 0-2 homer. So he's not trying to miss middle. He's trying to nibble at this point.
yeah,
Obviously, I'm still ready because if he wants to throw something inside the zone, like we got to be able to hammer it. But like every pitcher, like that's kind of the name of the game. Every pitcher is the 2 strikes expand, right? Like and hitters know this. So it's
yeah,
like, okay, if it's 2 strikes expand, like and this, it's not like auto take, it's never that, but it's like he's trying to get you to expand.
yeah. No, it
So
makes sense. And he did. He tried to get you to expand down, you leave it. He tries to get you to expand up, you leave it. And then he just misses with, I think the first easy take that you've had
right.
to make it 3-2. So now you got to feel good,
Yes.
right? You saw a pair of sliders, you saw a fastball that you fouled off, and you saw a fastball that you could take, at the top of the zone. How much better do you feel now that going from 0-2, now you've seen 3 more pitches, and now he's got to come into you here?
Well, now I'm in a position of like, okay, he hasn't been able to put me away with his best stuff. And because he's well located, the 0-2 pitch he threw down, well located. The fastball up, well located. And now we're in that even spot, right? So now I'm backing it up to 2-2. And then he misses because he's human, right? Now it's 3-2. Now this human element of like he can miss middle and I could do some damage with this, or he can throw a ball and I just won the at bat. So now I'm in a position like 3-2 count because like me personally, like I know I'm going good when I'm winning 3-2 counts.
Ooh, yeah.
I remember that. I was just like down and oh, hello.
Sniper.
Tripped a
Yeah.
yeah, a little
So
bit.
yeah. Oh, might have stepped on the shoelaces there, but no. So the swing, and I think for him, he probably saw you pulled the trigger at one fastball, and it got on you a little bit early in the count, and then
Mhm.
and that was a little bit more on the outer half. Now he runs one kind of down and in here, right? I mean, like that's down and in.
That's a good pitch.
Like that's a good spot, and you're all over it and crush that thing out to dead central. Uh, Again, is that just kind of the reaction zone for you? Like you're pretty much ready to react to anything on the inner half, or did you feel like you were just kind of prepared for anything in that spot?
Yeah, I mean, I wanna give myself a shot at everything at that particular time, like, because it's just a fight at that point. It's his best stuff versus my best swing, and I'm just trying to fight at that point. And, obviously, he's got a plus fastball. I see he's got a pretty power, I don't know, power curveball, whatever. I mean, he's throwing a hard breaking ball at 85. And, he locates a fastball. It is, I mean, I
That's
look
a
at it
good
now,
3-2 spot, man.
it's a good located fastball, but I mean, like, just giving myself enough time to be able to make these decisions on if I should swing or not, and then when the decision is yes, let's swing, like, let's get our A swing off.
What allows you to take that out to dead central when that's kind of running in on your hands and down and in? I feel like a lot of guys they're probably going to try to turn on that. Obviously, it's hard if it gets deep on you, but just having the strength is one thing, but also the path there to be able to not only hit it up the middle and hit it to center, but also create the leverage where it's taken off and backspun to center field. Like, what is it about your swing and your path that allowed you to do that on a pitch like that?
I just wanna create a tight turn. I just think if having those tight turns just allows for me to 1, it gives myself more time, right? So, like, if I'm making these wide outside of my body movements, I'm gonna have to make earlier decisions to be able to get success, as opposed to, you look at Barry Bonds, like, I love watching Bonds because that's the tightest turn that you can ever
Oh
see.
my gosh, yeah.
He didn't gain ground. Like, it was literally just a tight turn. And that's what I try to do. Just like, let's just make it as tight as possible. My arms will cover, in and outside, you know, on the plate and just make it tight. And now, I mean, that's a good pitch and just being able to just stay tight with it. Ben Brown.
This might be the most impressive AB because Brown's got some crazy stuff, but he's also effectively wild. So it's one of those where like you can have a good approach. He will accidentally throw one of the nastier pitches you'll see that month. Also do it on purpose too. I mean, it's a lively fastball that takes off. I mean, this guy's a monster. I don't think people realize how big he is, but he is a big dude, and the ball just gets on you quickly. So I'll just play it and feel free to just chime in on whatever and anything that sticks out. It's going to be fastball,
Okay.
breaking ball. It's going to be two really good ones.
Okay. So you probably should have swung at that, Justyn-Henry. Come on.
Sorry to like chime in on that. Was that an instance maybe where it's just whoa that got on me a little bit quicker than I thought, or sometimes you just get caught,
Uh,
and in yellow mode there maybe instead of like not really pulling the trigger.
I couldn't really tell you, like, exactly, like, in the moment, like, what was it? Um, but again, I mean, you hit it right on the head where it's like it could be like a mix of both, where it's like you need to be freaking ready to hit that. I don't know why you didn't try to pull the trigger, but you need to be ready. You need to swing at that.
That's an insane
Nice.
take, though. You just took a fastball that you thought you should have swung at. You're probably saying, "Damn it, Justyn-Henry, why didn't you swing?" And then usually that's going to result in a little bit more like, "Okay, I want to pull the trigger." And I'm sure you did. It looks like you were ready to. How do you lay off of that when you're dialed? And he starts that pitch exactly where the fastball was that you took, and it just darts right down, and you're able to shut that down.
I it's kind of like what I was saying before. Like it's something tough because like I can't explain because like
Yeah.
it's kind of like
But do
I
you
don't know
know
if
that's,
it's an
like,
eye.
difficult? Do you know, like, guys would kill to be able to do that the way that you do it, like, as frequently as you're able to do it?
I mean, I again like it's one of those things that like I didn't know was like good or
Yeah.
cool to do. It was just more of like Justyn-Henry don't swing. But then, like, obviously, like, you talk to your teammates, and your teammates are like, they're like, "Oh, like, what did you see to be able to shut it down so late?" And I'm just like, "Dude, like, it was just a wrinkle. Like,
It's like
something in my body told me, like, no, like, don't swing."
'cause that
Nice.
really does start at, like, the same spot right there.
I mean, that looks like a heater middle, and then it's
Yeah,
not. I mean,
yeah.
everything I mean, I pretty much swung except the bat didn't go anywhere.
I mean, dots that.
I challenged it, I probably lost the challenge. That looks like a strike.
You challenge that one?
It looks like I hit my helmet. I'm
Yeah,
not. Yeah,
I
yeah,
I wish you didn't cut off there, but I mean that.
yeah. That's a
I mean, it
strike.
looks like it could be just out, but probably nibbles the corner. I've seen those slow mos. It's like tennis, man, where it clips
Uh
like the
huh.
edge of it, and it's like, all right, well, I guess that's technically a strike. So it's
Yep.
2-2 now. I, like
Good.
again, dude, you just took a fastball for a strike on the outer half that you like even may have thought was a ball, and then you're able to lay off of that. Like this take particularly was exactly why I used this video. But now you've seen it seems like you're seeing the breaking ball well, but you also haven't swung at a fastball yet, and it's 3-2. So where are we at right now?
Well, I mean, now I'm looking at a pitcher's profile, and I know Ben likes to throw a heater. Doesn't mean he's gonna throw a heater. He could easily throw a nasty breaking ball. So now, just be on a fastball and adjust, kind of like your traditional hitting style, where be on something. Got my fastball. Had some success with it. Um, but yeah, I
Just kind of like I'm just gonna
good
play it
take.
through again. If there's anything else that stands out to you, because like I think this is one of the better ABs like you're gonna see, especially just considering who it's against.
I just don't like that I took that. Can't take that. Good take. Mm, good.
Yeah. Now you got to feel just so good after that one. You got to feel like you're going to see this next one come in well, and then boom. And that does run a little bit middle in, but again,
Hmm.
another pitch though that's hard and still in the inner half that you're able to just hit hard. I guess the last thing I'll ask you is like, is that an area that you feel really comfortable with the tight turn that you talked about, just being able to kind of let your body take care of it, knowing that you're quick enough with your hands and efficient enough with your path that you're going to get to those pitches? Like, do you like it more middle in terms of just almost naturally letting it take care of itself, or are you a guy that kind of likes to get it extended out more and I just cherry pick two really good swings on good fastballs?
Honestly, like I don't really have like a preference. It's just like, try to get a pitch to drive. Like if you threw it middle away, like, I probably would swing at that too. But, there's nothing that like I'm like, okay, like I want this ball middle in and I need it. And if I get it, I'm gonna do damage. If I don't get it, I'm gonna suck. Like it's like I'm not thinking like that. I'm just like, I just want a particular pitch. And if it's in the strike zone, I have trust in myself that I can do damage and have success with it. So he just
Makes sense.
throws it in, and I'm able to just, tight turn and, you know, catch it out front, get a fastball on 95, and just, you know,
Is
get
there
my
is there a
swing off.
specific feel? The last question I have is kind of specific feel that you go for in your load. Like the hands are really loose and relaxed. You talk about the tight turn. You have a little bit of that like gather and get in there. But is there certain cues? Obviously, when you're in the box, you try to get away from that. But just certain cues that you like to kind of remind yourself from when you're going right, things that you want to get back to or to get yourself going right.
I don't think I try not to think. I don't like thinking about my hands or my feet, my hips, my scap. I don't think about any of that. I really try. I'm probably, I joke with our hitting coach, like Mike Hessman, and I'm like, I try to keep hitting as simple as possible because it is so hard.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not thinking about nothing but compete against Ben Brown and the ball. There's no like obviously when you're going good, like let's remember the things that kept you going good. But like even sometimes for me, it's like it's just rhythm and timing, keeping it simple, and that even when things go bad, because things will go bad, it'll get you back sooner than like thinking about things. Like if I
Yeah.
just have like a feel in my body of like, okay, this is what feels right. And I know what that feeling is. I don't need to like write it down or remember that feeling. You know how tough it would be for me to like remember like the feeling I had when I had success. Like I
Yeah.
probably felt great, But like, I'm not a guy that's like, oh, I was loading at his leg lift when I was having success, or I was coiling into my back hip when I'm not. Like, I try to like I just want to hit, compete against the ball, the pitcher, and that's it.
And then take care of that in practice, I guess, right? Like
Yeah,
just repeat it,
exactly.
muscle memory, and trust that it'll translate. And I mean, I think
100%.
that's something that a lot of the best hitters will echo. And you talked about it. I think it ties a bow on everything we talked about, which on the podcast, if you stumbled upon this and haven't listened to the podcast version, you talked about just being able to replicate when you have a good year, when you're doing things well, replicate it. And sometimes simplifying it and just focusing on replicating the good, it can be all you need to do, and makes it, as you mentioned, a super complicated sport a little bit less complicated because the sport already takes care of complicating things for you. But it's been so awesome to watch you do what you're doing. It's been even more awesome to talk to you about it and kind of get inside your mind as you were doing these things. And again, really excited for you to get that big league spring training invite. Really pumped to hopefully catch you out there. We'll be going through different spring training spots throughout March. So hopefully we cross paths. But dude, I can guarantee you that all of our listeners are now rooting for you. I can promise you we've been rooting for you for a little bit now, and we're excited to see what you're going to do this year, dude. But thanks so much for taking the extra time here to break down some of your awesome ABs, and can't wait to see some more big league ABs, and maybe we can break those down in the future.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much for having me on with you guys, and this has been a blast. So thank you.
Awesome, man.